Last time I made a small profit selling my first car. This time we go on a hunt for another one, which doesn't turn out to be that easy. And we also look at oil servicing, why it's important and how we go about doing it. So I hunted through Facebook Marketplace, Gumtree, eBay, and we even went to a car auction. But everything is overpriced, certainly at the bottom end of the market where we're looking. I looked at a couple of cars off Facebook Marketplace. First one was a Volkswagen Polo, and I thought there was a very good margin in it until I had a good look at it. Odd wheels, one was even completely the wrong size, lots of panel damage, broken windscreen wiper at the back, and yeah, there was a long list of stuff that I went through, and by the time I'd done that, there was no profit in it at all. The other thing I looked at was a Nissan Micra. It was quite clean, low priced, and there was a small margin in it. But unfortunately there was an issue with the V5, so I had to walk away. I'm sure it's completely innocent, but I was having a look through Facebook Marketplace and there popped up a Peugeot 207. I contacted the seller straight away, went straight over to have a look at it. He'd already got somebody else coming to see it the next day. I made him an offer and took it away. I may have made a mistake there. There may not be any profit in it. There's quite a lot of work to do to it. But let's go and take a look. So this week's been a bit more tricky and I spent hours looking. On Thursday night I sat there on Facebook Marketplace and up popped this Peugeot 207. I messaged the seller straight away and went out and made him an offer. The problem is he's got quite a few bodywork issues that I need to sort out, need to service, but let's go take a look. So here it is, Peugeot 207 Sportium in black. It's 3 doors, 1360cc engine I think, kicking out a massive 74 brake horsepower. But you know, it could be made to look really quite fun and good. A lot of problems with it, I can see straight away. I mean, look at the state of that number plate. Front bumper there needs cleaning. There's several graces. The headlights here need a good clean up and a polish. We've got some corrosion on the wheels, but the big issue really is there's lots of scratching down the panels. Like somebody's keyed the car in some places and really not cared about it either. There's been some terrible attempts to sort of polish it out. Hopefully they haven't removed any lacquer or anything. As we come around the back end, my goodness, somebody's tried to tape up and do something over some rust I think here. Rather than me take this off, strip it down, find out it's rusty and then be chasing the rust around it, I've actually, while I've sat on a train, found another black rear tailgate that will fit on this and ordered that off eBay. The paintwork here is all a bit cruddy. I think a lot of that will clean up and we'll be able to prepare that nicely. As we come around this side here, we can see that there's lots of scratching on the bumper here. That's horrible, isn't it? And more keying and more people's attempts to try and polish this out. There's a bit of the door handle missing here. Oh, so I can get one of those off eBay. Tiny bit of corrosion there at the bottom of the door. I've flaked off this paint here to reveal this. It's actually solid, so I'm not too scared about that. Bit of a scratch on that wing mirror, and that's the body. It's not the prettiest, is it? It's not the prettiest. The tailgate's a bit stiff. It may loosen up a bit with a bit of use. A bit creaky, or I might have to replace the gas struts. Got the bubbling underneath the rubbers below the windows. This is not uncommon on old cars. I'll peel it off here. The good news is the door is solid underneath. So we'll just need to replace these and give it a good clean up. So what did I pay for it? Well, it was on Facebook Marketplace for £850. I offered £800, it was accepted. That's not bad for a car with 12 months MOT and no advisories. I do need to service it. It's got low mileage, so with the low mileage, the service history, full MOT, and if I made a really good job of the bodywork and made it immaculate, I could probably get nearly £2,000 for it on a forecourt. So I hope to get in excess of £1,500 for it. It doesn't give me a huge amount of money to spend on the bodywork, which is a little bit of a concern to me. But let's take it for a test drive and see how it is on the road. Okay. Starts nicely, it's been well looked after, well serviced, that's for sure. One of the things I have noticed is there's a bit of rubbing coming from the front. That might be a slightly warped disc, so I might have to replace that. Not uncommon. So the steering wheel is off centre. I'll need to sort that out. It's one of the things that really irritates me, but not a hard fix. The air conditioning is blowing a bit warm. It's another thing to add to the list. And they've replaced the stereo with this aftermarket thing, which does have Apple Play and stuff on it, which might actually be good. But it's not connected to the controls here, so I might have to look at doing some wiring there to make sure everything's connected properly. So overall, it doesn't drive too badly. The suspension's quite firm and it's quite positive in the way it drives, and no signs of problems from the engine. So hopefully just a good service for the car and the air conditioning. Bit of wheel alignments, check at the brakes at the front, and then all that body work, and everything will be fine. Is that all? While the engine's still cool, one of the first things I will do is change the air filter. It's an easy, cheap job that anybody can do. Sometimes there's just a bunch of clips that you undo, you take out and put the new air filter in. Other times, like in this one, there's some screws, but there's nothing that you can't handle. Changing the air filter at least every 12 months or every 10,000 miles or so helps improve your engine performance, it improves economy, and therefore it's better for the environment. It also, if the air filter gets damaged in any way, then it can let through little bits of stuff that shouldn't be there into the engine, and that can ultimately cause additional wear and damage to the engine. So changing the air filter is really important. So I'm going to just crack on and do this one. There we go. Removing the old air filter, I have a quick look. There's a bit of dust and dirt in there, but it's clearly been serviced. I'm happy with that. It's a good indicator for the car. And I'm also going to check that this one is very similar. Sometimes they do have a little arrow on them. Not very often for an air filter. They are prone to getting leaves and bits of stuff in it. So give it a clean out while you're there. I'm now placing the new air filter in, and I put the lid back on. And it's as simple as that. The only thing I would say is be careful, look for cracks and damage to the air filter housing and around the pipes and the hoses. Make sure everything is sealed, because if you don't, you may have problems with things like sensors such as your mass airflow sensor and things like that. Okay, and that will affect your engine's performance. But there's no excuse, you can do this. I'll tighten up the screws, the job's done, and we can move on to doing the oil. The engine's still cool at the minute. While it's cool, I'm going to take the dipstick out and have a good look at the oil. I'm going to wipe it on a cloth, have a look at the colour of it. This one's actually not completely black, so it has been serviced at some point, but it is due another one. Certainly I wouldn't dream of selling it without servicing it. So now what I'm going to do is warm up the engine to make the oil more viscous. That means it will flow more easily and more efficiently drain the engine. So I'm going to warm it up just a little bit for a couple of minutes. Right, it's now time to drain the oil. I've warmed the engine. I'm going to use a drain pan. This is the one I've got. Any tub will do, really. You really want to... You don't want to spill your oil everywhere. It's a heck of a git to clean up, but a tub will do, and you must dispose of it properly. Most dumps and tips will take it free of charge. If you take it in a suitable container, that's fine. Undoing the drain plug on the sump usually just takes a socket and a spanner. You may need a special drain plug one like this. I've got a set, this one fits nicely. I'll also wear gloves so I don't get used oil all over my hands. I've put a piece of cardboard down as well to catch any splashes. I also have a little tool like this which I put over the end, and that just catches any oil and protects my hand a little bit more as I unscrew the last couple of threads. Right, let's drain the oil. To help it drain more quickly, you can unscrew the oil filler cap on top. Oh, where's that? Be careful, the oil can be warm. I'm going to leave this to drain for a few minutes. While the oil's draining, I'm going to change the oil filter. There's two kinds. This one here has got like a cartridge that's inserted inside a little container, plastic container, which I unscrew to put this in. Another type is a canister like this, which I will unscrew or screw up from the bottom. If I'm doing a canister like this, I like to fill it full of oil before I screw the new one in. In both cases, if there is a seal, a rubber seal like this, which there should be, just smear it with a bit of oil, a bit of clean oil before you tighten it up, and tighten this kind by hand. I've got some lovely tools that help me take this off, and you can probably see this one's pretty dented where I have removed this one. This is an old used one. My favourite tool for removing one of these is this. I've had this for 20 something years now, and you basically put it on and you tighten it up. And as you I don't want to tip this up, I might spill oil everywhere, and you put your socket on there and you do it, and it grips and tightens and unscrews it as it goes. Brilliant thing. You may also see a chain which works similarly. You wrap the chain around it and then you tighten this up and it grips it and does it for you. And the olden days we used to just use a screwdriver, put a screwdriver in it, hammer it through and use the screwdriver as a lever to unscrew it. Can make a bit of a mess, and with these little toys there it's much easier. Anyway, let's crack on with this one. Now, to access this one I might need to remove the heat shield above it. Film it. Okay, so I've removed the oil filter housing here, and there we are. There's the canister inside it. I'll leave that in there, dispose of that. I'm going to give this a good clean up and I'll insert the new one. I'm also going to replace the rubber O-ring seal. Okay, time for the new one. Here's the new oil seal, or the O-ring there, that makes a nice tight oil seal. There we go. And here's the oil filter, which we just place in, click it in, and I can now just pop it in, screw it in the way it came out. Don't over tighten it, don't over tighten it, just nice and tight, perhaps just by hand if you like, if you've got a nice good grip. So here we go. You just need to crush that little O-ring just a bit, just to complete the seal. And once you're done, give everything a good wipe over. I've got a tiny bit on the exhaust, that will really smell. I can get rid of that. Yeah, do make a good job of cleaning this up after yourself. Last thing you want to do is take it for an MOT afterwards and have them say, well, I'm afraid there's an oil leak. Right, I've now got to fix the heat shield back on. Before I lower it back down to ground, I'm going to replace the sump plug, but I'm also going to make sure I replace the sump plug washer with a new one. This is important to get a good seal so we don't get an oil leak from the sump plug itself. The washer is crushed every time you actually use it. With the sump plug fitted with a new washer and nicely tightened up, I now sometimes turn my attention to the used oil to see what there is. If there's bits of metal inside, then that can cause me concern. I can see some lumps in here, but I'm checking with my magnet and they're not really magnetic, so I think we're pretty okay there. I think it's just dirt that was floating around or dust that's been picked up. It's now time to fill up with the new oil. It's good to know what the capacity of your engine is. I also like to take the dipstick out as well. It fills up a little bit quicker. There we go. I'm going to use a funnel. It's a good idea to put a rag around it as well so you don't make a mess. which I'm bound to, I'm so clumsy. It probably won't take the full capacity of oil you expect first time round. It's important to use the correct oil with the correct grade. Different engines need different viscosities and different additives. That's because they have different sort of cams and shafts and stuff like that, different components, so they... Ooh, that's full. I'm going to let it rest for a moment before I check the level on the dipstick. I need to make sure I've done this when the car's lowered because it needs to be on level ground. It's important to change your engine oil regularly. Its viscosity can change with time and the additives can lose their effectiveness. Nowadays oil's quite expensive, but I do like to change the oil in my car at least every 10,000 miles or year, but it should really be, ideally, I'm still old-fashioned, 6,000 miles, 6 months. If it's one of my old cars, that'll happen. Some modern cars have really long service intervals, maybe 20,000 miles. They do suffer with problems though, and that does gunk up their engines and cause failures, so I would still recommend changing it every 10,000 miles. Are you listening, BMW drivers? Overfilling with oil can also not be good for your engine, so don't do that. Do check it regularly. Mine's about towards the maximum now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the cap on it, and I'm going to turn the engine over just for a few seconds, a few moments, and that will spread the oil around the engine and also fill up the oil filter. Now I've done that, I'm going to check the oil again. It might need topping up a little bit more. I'll also check it again after a day or two, after a few miles driving. The last remaining thing to do is to reset your service light if you've got one. You may have to look on the internet how to do that. There's loads of tutorials on YouTube and it's not usually that complicated. Now I haven't finished all my jobs on the Peugeot yet, and I will let you know how I get on and how well I do in selling it. Regular filter and oil changes for your car are really important if you want to keep it reliable and inexpensive to run. It will help with efficiency, help prevent breakdowns and improve the longevity of your engine. If you've got something out of this, look into this part of servicing a car, then please give me a thumbs up, a like and even subscribe. I'll see you next time.